Coming up in the morning edition, the official results are in from the national examinations. The Prime Minister views the damage to the Rumkey School and more back-to-school expectations. It's Tuesday, the second day of school for thousands of students. Good morning, everyone. I'm LaDawn Davis, and this is the Morning Edition. Thank you so much for waking up with us. We are experiencing mild downpours in the forecast this morning, and to tell us more about weather conditions on the outside, here's Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good morning, Basil.
Good morning, LaDawn. A couple of early morning light showers, courtesy of one or two of those feeder bands from Gordon, which is now racing towards the west and leaving behind just a weak high-pressure system, which will control our weather over the next couple of days. But outside of our studios, mostly cloudy, temperatures 79 degrees, a relative humidity 88%, easterly winds at 7 miles per hour, your barometric pressure 1,017.0 millibars, that is 30.03 inches, and it is steady. Temperatures around the islands this morning, 77 in Freeport, Grand Bahama, also Green Turkey, a little warm in Marsh Harbor at 80 degrees, Bullocks Harbor 82, 83 in Alderstown, Bimini. As we go into Alderstown, Cat Island 81, Staniel Key at 81 as well, another 81 in Camp Space, St. Andrews, Fresh Creek in Central Andrews at 82 degrees. San Salvador, Rim Key 81, 79 degrees, showing up in Ragged Island, Clarencetown, Long Island, Crooked Island, and Betsy Bay, Meguana 82 degrees, 82 also in Acklands, Matthewtown, Inagua at 81, and the Turks and Caicos Islands 81 degrees. Your boating forecasts are for today for all areas. You can expect an easterly flow at 12 to 18 knots, moderate seas around 3 to 6 feet over the ocean. Low tide 8:05 this morning. High tide will take place at 2:36 this afternoon. And that's going to do it for your first look at weather. The morning edition. Stay tuned. Your forecast for tonight is ahead.
Thanks a lot, Basil. Well, the streets are also wet this morning, and as you approach those school zones, you should exercise extreme caution. Sieska Adderley joins us live on our streets. Good morning, Sieska.
Good morning. This morning, Danny and I are coming to you live from the Centerville Primary. Extremely quiet right now, very much so, but we understand from school officials that it is expected to get higher, or the traffic area is supposed to ramp up between the hours of 8 and 9. Now, we spoke with traffic officials, and we are in a school zone, and so if you're traversing through the areas, you must make a special note that it should be between the traffic speed in this area is 15 miles per hour. You should not be traveling any higher than 15 miles per hour, because you should be considering that little ones will be getting out of the car and heading to their classrooms, so on and so forth. Now, the school zones are between 7:30 and 9, and again between 2:45 and 4 o'clock. Now, as I said, and as you can see behind me, traffic is relatively slow behind me. A few students are here now, but that is expected to change, like I said, in another hour or so, as school officially starts at 9 a.m. And I'm sure that parents probably don't want their little ones in the schoolyard too early before classes, but traffic is smooth here right now in the Centerville area, particularly here in front of the Centerville Primary School. Back to you in the studio, LaDawn.
Thanks a lot, Sieska. In news this Tuesday, the results from the national examinations are in from both the Bahamas Junior Certificate and the Bahamas General Certificate of Secondary Education. Now, according to the Ministry of Education, there has been an increase in several subjects, including BJC Maths, which could have been a direct influence on the number of students meeting the requirements for the Bahamas High School Diploma. Among the subjects improving in the BJC were English Language, General Science, Social Studies, Spanish, and Health Science. In the BGCSE, the ministry says the grade continued to range from A to E, which are better than anticipated. The grades A through C decreased slightly, and the highest percentage of grades awarded continues to be at grade C. While the Knights of the C.R. Walker Senior High School continue to excel in the national examinations, Principal Nicola McKay noted the success and spoke to ZNS News about a new initiative on tap this new school year.
Education's WIG, W-I-G, which is widely important goal. Our minister has mandated that we increase the graduation rate from 50% to 85% by 2030. And in order for the ministry to do that, we in the schools have to do what we can to increase our students' performance, and we plan to implement our own WIG, wildly important goal here at C.R. Walker. And the biggest thing is creating that cadence of accountability, which means we are going to be monitoring the instructional program every step of the way. We're very, very excited about our BGCSE results, and we can boast of them being the best in government schools in New Providence.
In other news, the Prime Minister visited schools on the islands of Exuma and San Salvador on the first day of school yesterday. The Prime Minister toured the campuses of Ellen Coakley High School in Exuma, United States Primary, and the San Salvador High School on San Salvador. The Prime Minister said he wanted to ensure that message was clear, that all schools are important. He told the students that their education was also as important as every island in this country.
It's our responsibility to provide all the necessary tools for you so that you can become well educated. And it's your responsibility to work hard, remain focused, read and absorb as much as you possibly can. Regardless of your background, how rich or how poor you may be, each and every one of you stand and can possibly become the Prime Minister or whatever you want to become.
Over in Rumkey, the education team impacted to some extent when a fire hit the all-age school on the weekend. The Prime Minister visited the island for a first-hand view. Altaviz Munnings reports.
The Minister's second stop on his three-island tour on the first day of the new academic year was here in Rumkey, where he viewed damage sustained from an electrical fire here at the Rumkey All-Age School. Prime Minister Minnis saw firsthand the damage sustained from an electrical fire in the kitchen of the Rumkey All-Age School on the weekend. Rumkey's Chief Councillor Craig Gator explained how extinguishing the fire was a full community effort.
When I got here, there was a lot of guys already on the scene, but what we did with limited resources, as you can see some lines here where we was trying to get water, and it was real difficult to even get in there to contain the fire. It took us a long time, but again, the community, with a team effort, we really got it done.
How about the community effort to extinguish the fire here at Rumkey All-Age? Were you here?
I was here at the beginning. It was awesome because all the young men and the young ladies who could help to put out the fire, they did well. So we just want to thank God. It wasn't the worst. God is awesome.
The Prime Minister also met with the parents and the 8 students of the Rumkey All-Age School. He also provided school supplies for them at the start of this new academic year.
But I explained to them that I've spoken to individuals within the private sector before I left New Providence, and I was assured by members of the private sector that whatever they need as students in Rumkey and to get themselves back in order and going, to ensure that they achieve whatever goal they want to accomplish, that the private sector would make those things available.
Back-to-school preparations were also underway this weekend over in Exuma. In fact, employees from Sandals Emerald Bay donated their time to ensuring that the Ellen Coakley campus was ready. Jimenita Swain reports.
Well, the Sandals team members partnering with officials from the Ellen Coakley High School, all in a cleanup effort to get the campus ready for the opening day of back to school.
We've got all of our landscaping team here, so they've come with all of their landscaping equipment, which may be difficult for the school to provide. I've also got a number of volunteers from our entertainment department, our housekeeping department, who just have come to volunteer their time, just to, go around, cut grass, pick up litter. So it's really nice to see everyone doing that.
Sandals Emerald Bay General Manager Jeremy Mutton leading team members by example in the cleanup of the Ellen Coakley campus in Exuma on Saturday. He says it's something he and his team take seriously.
We've done it, like I said, for the last 3 or 4 years at Ellen Coakley, always the Saturday before. In fact, we do a number of the schools at this time of year just to help prepare them and, just so that students see that we're all taking an interest in their development and in the environment that they study in.
The general manager says the school also had other requests that the Sandals Foundation is helping to make a reality. It's something school principal Don Barr is happy with.
this year they wanted the weights room to be refurbished, so we've refurbished that and we're just waiting on the equipment to come there. And then Mr. Barr, the principal, wanted a couple of additional lunch sheds, lunch pavilions. All of the equipment is here for that, and we're just waiting to start those projects. So there's always things that we like to do at the school.
This is an initiative I met in place, and so when I came in 2015 and Mr. Mutton said that he wished to continue with the project, it is something that I embraced, and we want to thank him and the staff of Sandals for making this happen.
The gym is expected to be completed by next month, and Mr. Barr allowed us a peek inside. He too cleared down bushes on the campus. He says he's pleased with the assistance from Sandals.
This is an initiative I met in place, and so when I came in 2015 and Mr. Mutton said that he wished to continue with the project, it is something that I embraced, and we want to thank him and the staff of Sandals for making this happen.
Team members moved throughout the campus picking up garbage and cutting back overgrown trees. Mr. Mutton said Sandals also found other ways to assist parents in preparing their children for back to school.
Back to school is financially, it's a challenging time, so any little thing that we can do. So at the resort, we're having free back to school haircuts. It follows what we did last weekend, where we gave a fun day and gave backpacks to all of the kids.
Now that the campus is clean with the grass cut, all removed, new and returning students of Ellen Coakley have a wonderful environment to return to. Jiminita Swain, ZNS Network News.
Stay close, we've got more news right after this quick break.
Know how you can save more money, save more time, earn more interest, and have more for the future? The solution is an account from Fidelity Bank. With our ASU Savings, fixed deposits, and preferred client program, you can get free financial advice from our team of experts, competitive interest rates, and free online banking for simple and safe banking anytime, anywhere. Open a fixed deposit or savings account with Fidelity by visiting a branch today. Get into the rhythm of saving with Fidelity. Fidelity, we're good for you.
We play just like your kids. We text just like your kids. We learn. We even cook. We take selfies. We have hobbies. And we love sports. In every way, we are just like everyone else, and enjoy the same things, and live our lives every day, just like you do. So if you happen to meet us, treat us just like everyone else. Because at the end of the day, we're just like you. Living life with Down syndrome is simply living. To learn more about Down syndrome, call 727-2105. This message is brought to you by the Grand Bahama Down Syndrome Society.
Welcome back to the Morning Edition. For students and faculty at schools in the Central District, principals of the majority of the schools we visited are projecting more success for this new academic year. Smartly adorned in their uniforms and backpacks over their shoulders, some of the nearly 600 students with their parents in tow piled onto the campus of the Palmdale Primary School on day one, hoping to get better academic results this new school term. A few parents we spoke to while walking their kids to the classroom talked about their expectations this school year.
He did very well in preschool, and I hope that he keeps that trend and do even better at Palmdale Primary. They have good teachers, good staff, it's a good facility, and it's close to home.
Well, I told him bring home 1 or 2, that's it, top place. He wants to do Spanish, and he's very good at arithmetic, and so we're looking at the other electives. You know, his basic math and English is on par, so his other electives is what I'm going to be looking at.
Principal Phyllis Johnson says she is excited to impart knowledge and wisdom into the minds of the nation's young people.
Excited and ready to receive our students. As you can see, when you look around the campus, it's clean, the classrooms are ready, the children are bright, and they're excited. We're also excited about this academic year because school exists for teaching and learning, and we're definitely going to be focused, we're going to be driven, and we're going to be determined to achieve all of our goals this year.
And even though the more than 300 plus students here at St. Thomas More started school 2 weeks ago, Principal Renee Mortimer gave us an update on the school's plans.
We want to make sure we encompass our parents, more involvement with our PTA. We want to make sure that everyone is working together, teamwork, that's our first character trait, that everyone is working together, that we are participating and we are involving each other, working together. And so we're very excited about that. We want to make sure that we work on our GLAD goals and increase our writing and reading comprehension.
Then we headed over to C.R. Walker Senior High School, and while there we caught up with the wife of the Prime Minister and former educator Patricia Minnis, who encouraged the students to continue to dream big.
As I walked through the crowd, I wanted them to know it's just not words, but we have Bahamians who are at NASA, who are astronauts, and so they can be anything they want to be. I told them that if you have a friend who's not going where you want to go, you have to leave them, you have to move on. And then finally that, you can get wisdom. They have to learn to just pray, ask God for wisdom, which comes with knowledge and understanding.
Several aragonite studies have been conducted here in the Bahamas, and reports have determined a large quantity of aragonite is scattered across the country and could cost millions of dollars. Minister of the Environment, the Honorable Ramon Ferreira, gave reporters an update on research being carried out.
I think it was about a dozen sites throughout the Bahamas to determine the amount of aragonite throughout the Bahamas and to determine how fast the aragonite is precipitating, because aragonite is a form of calcium carbonate or a source of calcium carbonate that precipitates out of the ocean. So you have studies that, and what those studies determined is that the quantities are vast, but different locations throughout the Bahamas have different precipitation rates or different rates of formation. And those rates of formation vary between 150 years and 2,000 years.
Ferreira also revealed the benefits and economic impact of aragonite in this country.
That the government makes money from aragonite by issuing licenses. It is the collection of license fees that the government makes its money from aragonite. The government is not in the business of mining aragonite to either primary, secondary, or tertiary grade processing. It's simply collecting fees from people that do. And the potential for that, the study that we saw that was conducted by ourselves, our technical team, and technical people from the Commonwealth Secretariat say that we can make approximately $2.5 million per license, per the issue of a license. So that does not mean that the resources of aragonite are only worth $2.5 million. That means if you are a potential licensee in a differentiated class licensee system, you will pay approximately that amount.
We have breaking news this morning. There's a murder on East Street. Our Sieska Adderley joins us live with the latest. Good morning again, Sieska.
Good morning. What we thought would have been a quiet morning, just a few streets over at Centerville Primary, just got a little bit more hectic as we are now on Plantal Street, just off East Street, where police are investigating the country's latest details on how this incident unfolded is pretty much non-existent at this point. As we attempted to get information, police asked us to step behind the caution tape, so it's safe to say that they're very early into their investigations and they're trying to figure out how this incident occurred. As I told you, we are live on Plantal Street at the scene of this homicide, and we will remain here until we have all of the information, and as the information becomes available to us, we will be able to bring it to you. But we are live. As a matter of fact, ZNS News is first on the scene, live at the country's latest homicide on Plantal Street, just off of East Street. Back to you in the studio, LaDawn.
Thanks a lot, Sieska. Fisher Sieska's doing a great job this morning.
Great job, very busy this morning. She's earning her pay finally.
I understand there are a lot of track and field that's coming up.
A lot of track and field. We know that the IWF World Relays Bahamas, it is being put off. We were speaking with the minister for the first time. Her input on that. We also have Evan Wisdom in studio today. He's going to tell us about those changes in schools. I hear you're going to a new school come next year.
Thank you. Hopefully. Sports is up next.
an artist, I travel all over the world and I find inspiration all around me, from the people and especially the environment. I love the Bahamas with all its natural beauty, from Abaco in the north to Inagua in the south and all the wonderful and colorful islands in between. But we must all do our part to keep the Bahamas healthy and clean, now and for the future generations. That's why I want you to find a little time to do your part. I'm doing my part because I care. Do you?
What an amazing idea to go into the communities and into our world and into our country and into the homes of people and into the lives of outstanding and extraordinary people all over the country. I think that telling those stories, again, helps us to connect to the notion of okay, how can I live a better life? How can I be better? This is how this person achieved it. Where can I find common ground so that my life can match up as well? And so Ordinary People is an amazing, amazing concept, and I'm excited to be a part of the Ordinary People family. Good morning once again. It's been a few months now since the government of the Bahamas pulled out of hosting the 2019 World Relays. Now, we did have a chance to speak. There's been no interest from about at least 4 countries so far to host the event, but still no official announcement from the IAAF as to who will host these relays. Well, the News Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Anisha Rule, her take on the matter.
We are still very, very supportive of the IAAF. We are very, very supportive of our region and all we're doing in the area of sports. But as you know, the government would have indicated, we want to sort of cut back a little so that we can get ourselves financially in order. And that's important to secure our future and the sustainability of what we offer our Bahamian people.
Meantime, the University of the Bahamas Mingos Athletics looking forward to a banner 2018-19 calendar with hopes of being accepted into the National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics. But before that, Director Kim Rule called the past season a great one.
I think we had a pretty solid year. Some of the highlights you heard already from some of the coaches. Obviously, Ken setting a new national record and also winning the gold medal at the Pants Relay was a huge deal for us. We also had 3 of our track athletes who made senior national teams this summer. Obviously the men's soccer team going undefeated, first team at University of Bahamas to do it. So I told Coach the only way to top it is to repeat it. And so we expect them to do that this year. Men's basketball was 1 step away from the championship. We're looking for them to take that big step to move forward. We expect continued growth from our women's volleyball program. I remember, and I don't say this to embarrass them, but 2 years ago, we won a set, not a game, a set. And so when we look at where they've come from that to where they are now, and then this year, we want to just constantly see consistent improvement in that regard.
Now joining us in the studio this morning is Evan Wisdom. He's the Senior Education Officer at the Sports Unit of the Ministry of Education. Well, the sports school year got underway, not the sports school year, but school got underway on Monday. What's ahead for this year? No, not the nationals ahead.
Right. Charles, we're looking at 3 main initiatives. One of the initiatives, of course, would be the national championships. We are boasted by the fact that we believe that this government is in full support. We've had this over 2 successive governments now, and I think the young persons in our country just love it. We believe that we will be the benefit of a lot of the funding, and we believe that we'll make everybody in the country proud with regards to what we do at our national championship level.
Now, speaking about country, you know, those folks in the Family Islands, they sometimes feel that they are left on the back burner.
Right. Well, as you have experienced and as you know, the most important thing is the element of the national championships are travel. So to be able to, I always tell persons and especially members of parliament, they always tell me how excited these young people are to travel from a Cat Island or to travel from an Exuma. Fish, I don't like to have to say it, but I've had instances here in New Providence where kids have been on the plane for the first time, a young lady holding her stomach the whole ride over to the Grand Bahamas. So we may consider these things trivial, but to these young people, they are extremely excited about what's going to happen this year.
GSSA and Grand Bahama starts with volleyball. private school start with softball. We've been working for years now to get all on one power where each plays the same sport at the same time.
And you know the problems that we've had with that. We always tell people that it's extremely easy to talk about these things, but when it comes to implementing them, we know, and we've had studies done, when that baseball is hit, the speed that it travels at and the distance in terms of the facilities that you need is something that we've encountered, and so all of those are things that we need to work on. That's why I was so happy, Charles, when I saw that report with regards to sandals.
Very good.
You talked about it. We need more corporations, business entities in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas to assist our young people. And if we get that kind of activity with regards to assisting our young people, we could go very, very far.
Another important one, everybody wants to some coaches move from here to here. A big one coming out of Abaco with Christian Genoa, then Tyrese Curry from C.R. Walker, she's moving on. But we won't get the full grip until later on the week after teacher settling. Talk about that.
Well, you know the implications of Abaco, what Mrs. Genoa has brought to the organization and structure of the athletic play in Abaco. Tyrese is the same in terms of almost assisting Floyd and their principal, Mrs. McKay, in the development of sports, almost as an institution at C.R. Walker. And so anytime you have monumental changes like that, it affects your program. We like it because we like to see an evenness throughout the system, and we think that we believe that high school sports, Charles, is the best ticket. And you know which station carries that is going to be carrying all of our major sports. Okay,
and speaking about that, you showed me a piece of paper, the International School Federation. We're trying to get a part of that. What is that all about?
International School Sports Federation is a federation that we've been invited to be a part of. That does world school competitions throughout globally. What would happen then is, out of our national championships, for the first time, we're not just having a national championship for the sake of having a national championship, but we're having it to select an all-Bahamian team in all of our core sports. Those all-Bahamian teams will have an opportunity to travel to these countries were we to get this thing past cabinet. And so I send this on to my director. He sends it on to the minister. The minister sits with his colleagues and makes a decision. But I am just, like I told you before, Fish, can you imagine a child, let's say from Scrub Hill, Acklands, making the all-Bahamian team in whatever sport, and being able to travel to Brazil
or Greece and one of those
it's phenomenal, and it actually could change their life. And so we're extremely excited.
Well, we'd like to thank Evan Wisdom for joining us here this morning on the Morning Edition. We'll have much more from him coming up throughout the year. And we want to wish you a very successful 2018-2019 Sports
and
and to all the national champions and all the sports a good one as well.
We want to wish all our students, especially like you said in the Family Islands, a happy school sports year.
All right, thanks, Mr.
Thank you, my brother.
All right, that's sports.
I always said that he was going to kill her the way he beats on her. But I never thought that this day would actually happen. So I prayed to God to deliver her, to deliver them. Isn't that all I could do? What would you have done?
Let's talk. Call the Bahamas Crisis Center's free 24-hour hotline at 328-0922. Sometimes a conversation can change a life.
Together, they engage in a range of activities which may seem simple, but have the potential to give Symphonia the head start she needs.
In terms of this program, yes, it's going on in some islands across the Caribbean, but on the wider level, clearly, how important is that whole issue of the early childhood development?
As an artist, I travel all over the world and I find inspiration all around me, from the people and especially the environment. I love the Bahamas with all its natural beauty, from Abaco in the north to Inagua in the south and all the wonderful and colorful islands in between. But we must all do our part to keep the Bahamas healthy and clean, now and for the future generations. That's why I want you to find a little time to do your part. I'm doing my part because I care. Do you?
In our final look at weather, very busy tropics, we have Tropical Storm Florence, which is maintaining intensity, packing winds of 70 miles per hour, moving toward the west-northwest at about 13 miles per hour, and taking aim for the island of Bermuda, which will take place sometime early next week. And then closer to home, we have Tropical Storm Gordon, which has gained strength overnight now, packing winds of about 65 miles per hour. We anticipate that it will reach hurricane intensity before it makes a landfall somewhere between New Orleans and Mobile, Alabama later on this week. So that system is continuing to pack a good punch, and some feeder bands from that as we go to our satellite picture still working its way across the northwest Bahamas, meaning we can get 1 or 2 pockets of showers and thunderstorms over much of the western part of the Bahamas during the course of today. Our forecast for today, partly sunny with a passing shower or 2, and that's mainly for us here in the capital. 88 degrees for your high temperature, and tonight partly cloudy once again with spotty showers. 78 degrees will be your low temperature. The extended weather forecast keeping you not too toasty, upper 80s during the daytime and the mid 70s during the nighttime, and those showers will continue off and on into Thursday, drying out quite nicely for the weekend. LaDawn?
Thanks a lot, Basil, and that does it for the morning edition. Thank you so much for waking up with us. Once again, I'm LaDawn Davis. See you right back here tomorrow morning.